Hello, today I'm at a house in South Jersey that had a bamboo problem, slight bamboo problem. I'll put some pictures in now of what we were dealing with in the beginning, but this is a project that started like a year ago in the summertime, spring, summer, I forget what month it was, but my son came down with me and we hacked all of what you saw in the pictures out with sawzall, hacksaws, hatchets, whatever we could, and then just had somebody locally remove it to take it to the dump. But you just have to keep coming down and maintaining it. So when you're dealing with bamboo, there's the main thing is excavating. The most expensive, of course, is just to excavate your entire yard to get rid of the root systems. But for this property, it wasn't an option. So there is a tarping method, basically, where you can tarp the area like we have here. Heavy duty tarps obviously are preferred, but the local shops down here, when I ran out and got some tarps, it's not ideally the right thickness, so we'll probably end up having to replace some of these tarps in the next year. But this method takes longer, but it basically slowly kills off the bamboo because it starves it from sunlight and rain, and it gets too hot under the tarps for it to survive, so it does kill it off slowly. But you have to every couple of months maintain it. You'll see sprouts here and there. I already cut some of this stuff out. There was a little bit of new sprouting starting here. So right now it's April, so it's not even peak growth season. But when you do the tarping method, from my research, you basically have to come down and revisit this in April or May and catch any brand new sprouts because they're much easier to cut. And then you just specifically put some weed kill in the stem of that shoot to kill it off individually. So right now you can see there's a couple of sprouts out in the middle here, wherever there's seams in the tarps and around the edges. One thing we did last year too was we did some trenching, which kind of cuts the root systems. It's already kind of filled in here because this is Jersey and the soil is sandy, so everything just washes in with the rain. But we did trench this right here to cut root systems, and we dug all the root systems out to try to keep it from spreading any further into the neighbor's lawn. But you can see there's a new sprout here, new one down there and down there. So we'll cut them, kill them. I'll check this trench for anything new trying to cross and just maintain it. But some other family members came down and they had a good idea with this PVC to keep the tarp edges down, because obviously with storms and stuff, I had used stakes originally and tried to get as long the ones as I could find, but with the sandy soil and the wind, it just pulls the stakes right out. So when they had come down, I think back in October, they had seen the tarps were the edges were up, so they did this PVC method here. And then now that I'm down, it's April right now, mid-April, and everything seems intact. There was a seam here that was pulled up, so there was some sprouts right in here, so I cut them and then found some mechanics wire, because all I have is stakes right now with me. But I basically just wove mechanics wire through these grommets and around that PVC to hopefully hold down this whole edge from now on. And I'll just go get some weed killer and spray what's exposed here to kill it off. But we're moving along here, so I'm gonna basically cut some more of these sprouts, and some tarping came up over here, so I'll pull some more of this back and I'll show you what has died off already. But this method seems to be working as I'm working and I'm checking under the tarp. Right now it's probably 60 degrees, but under that tarp it is ungodly hot already, just from the sun and the tarp holding the heat. So when I lifted some of the tarp edges up, you can see already how much of the shoot systems that my son and I had cut are dead. They're like dried out pieces of wood under the tarp. So now it's just a matter of keeping up with new sprouts, killing them off. And there are some shoots in neighbors' properties, but this problem originated from a neighbor's property and then came on to this property, and ownership has changed. So holding people accountable can be difficult sometimes when you have bamboo invasion like this. But all we can do is stop it on our property, and if it continues to spread on other neighbors, unfortunately that's their problem. But here's a little visual of under one of the tarps, but you can see some of the old shoots we dealt with. Some of these thicker ones that we cut with sawzall. And then even some of the newer sprouts that were coming up back then when we were originally cutting, they're all starting to die off. Bamboo is extremely resilient and invasive. So, but this method basically is cost effective. You know, it's a bit of an eyesore in your yard for several years while you're trying to keep the bamboo under control and slowly kill it off. But I had heard of other methods too, where you add some salt underneath the tarp to expedite the process and kill things off faster. But you know, you obviously can use chemicals too, but you know, with the environment and things like that, we opted not to use chemicals. And even the salt would then get down into the soil, and then it may take forever for grass to grow back. So right now we're just tarping it and coming down and revisiting and checking it out, and hopefully in a year or two we can pull the tarps and then decide what to do from there. The tools I'm using right now are gloves, of course, hatchet, bolt cutters, because I didn't have hedge trimmers and I didn't know what I was getting into, so I brought these along. But I found these. I'm gonna have Edward scissor hands. So here's what you do with these sprouts. You basically take whatever you want to cut it, and some of these heavier ones, you know, I just brought these bolt cutters with me. I didn't know what I was going to get into coming down, so I brought some limited tools, but bolt cutters work. Just trim it like that, and then immediately spray the stem with weed killer and let it soak in. What I had found online researching was, if you go around and cut all of the stems, and then, you know, say it takes you an hour to cut all the new stems, and then you go back and start spraying, bamboo actually, when you cut it right away, it starts absorbing moisture, and after a few seconds it stops absorbing moisture. So you want to spray it while it's absorbing the most moisture. You know, it's almost like it's thirsting. So wherever the fresh cut, it's almost like it's thirsting for moisture. So you spray it right away and it'll suck in the most weed killer and get down into the roots and kill that sprout. There's another area here that kind of borders this other property, which the owner owns this property as well as this one. So you know, we had the all clear to go ahead and clean this. This was all full of bamboo as well. It's actually inside this garage, so it infiltrated under the foundation, and there's actually sprouts in this garage, which, as we kill off things down here around the outside, I've already checked inside there, and that's actually already dying off. So there was some new sprouts along here. I already cleaned that up. Just fold it over, take a hatchet to it, sprayed weed killer along this here and around the corner of that wall there. And then there was a few sprouts trying to push out on an angle under the edge here along the driveway. So I hatcheted all that across and sprayed weed killer along the edge of there too. So now we're going to tackle this line here. And lucky me, it's in the shade. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I don't want to take you in this garage because there are the owner's personal items in there. But if I can make a shadow, see that leafy stalk? It's dead, but this whole corner back here, the garage, is the worst as far as the bamboo growth in there. But that's how invasive bamboo is. Doesn't care about buildings, doesn't care about fences, doesn't care about property lines. All right, we're done for the day. So if you want to follow along the progress, we'll be back probably in about a month. In the summertime, we might be back 2 times a month just to check on this and keep up with killing off shoots and checking on the tarps. But if you want to follow along the progress, just subscribe below and follow along. Give us a like, shout out, comment if you have any ideas on some tips with the methods we're using. Operation Murder Bamboo sounds like a good title. Maintenance and upkeep is the name of the game from here on out. And always remember, time is everything, money is a tool, and we can't afford to waste either one. Till next time, last tag.